What's up, guys? This is Boot Banter coming at you with another unboxing. Today I'm unboxing the Nike Mercurial Vapor 14 Elite FG in the Black Volt colorway. When you come open the boots, open the box, you see you have the boots here. Very nice colorway. I rate this a lot more than I did the first Dragonfly limited launch colorway. That was a really rough looking boot, but this is a lot more subtle with a little bit of color. I really like it. As you see here, we have the new Mercurial string bag. I never use these string bags because I have my own equipment bag. As you can see, it has like the flat layout of the upper. As you can see, Mercurial on the back. I never use these, but I always appreciate that Nike gives us the string bag. It's a durable, out of a durable material, not that mesh material that Adidas does for some of their boots. And half of the time, they don't even give you a boot bag. So that was the box and the bag. Now let's focus on the boots. Okay, so there are a few changes from the Vapor 13. Let's start with the upper. So the upper has moved away from fly knit. The only fly knit material that you have on here is in the tongue area and around the collar. The main upper is comprised of what Nike calls a vapor positive material, which is pretty much a 3-layer system where it's synthetic on the inside. As you can see, you have that synthetic suede. Then it's a kind of I would say a engineered mesh, and it is covered with a top layer of TPU called Duragon Wet Traction. The Duragon material was on the Vapor 13, but I think they changed it so that it's a little bit more grippy in wet weather. As always, you have ACC on here, and as you can see, that's the Vaporposit call out right there. Now, back here you have what Nike calls speed wings. These have nothing to do with performance. They're strictly just for aesthetics. Going down to the Soleplate, you have your chevron blades from the 13, but Nike has changed the little layout of the actual studs. So as you can see, if you compare the front layout to the front layout of the 13, you will see that the studs are a bit more angled out instead of being straight forward like it was on the previous Vapor. As you can see, the little AeroTrack, material or AeroTrack frame or whatever, that's been completely cut out, and you do not miss it. It still has the same flex as it did on the Vapor 13. So if you're a fan of that, don't worry. The same performance is gonna be on the Vapor 14. As you see, they have this spine here. I actually forgot what the actual name they actually gave this spine, but it doesn't do anything. It doesn't reinforce stiffness. All it does is just covers the seam that goes down the middle that you saw on the Vapor 12 and the Vapor 13. As far as performance, it has no benefit. As you can see, the studs. The studs from first glance look a little bit different from the back studs of the 13, but be assured that there's no performance benefit or deduction that goes on with this. As you can see, you have this little pull tab. Me personally, I could do without it. It reminds me of the 2010 Addy Zero. I could care less about it, but it doesn't hinder performance. When I tried the boots on, it didn't bother my heel or Achilles, so I don't have a problem with it being there. I just think it makes the boot look a little bit goofy, but not too bad. First impressions, I will say that when putting these on, the width, it, the boot does feel a tad bit wider than the Vapor 13, but not to the point where if you couldn't get into the 13 in the first place, like if you couldn't physically put your foot in the Vapor 13, then you probably still won't be able to fit into the Vapor 14. Um, I do have wide feet. I do have flat feet, so with most boots, even leather boots, it takes a minute for me to break them in because I just have wide feet, weird shaped feet. So even with these, I was able to fit them in. I was able to fit in them, and they didn't feel too bad actually. I will say that upon touching the upper, I will say that it does feel a tad bit thinner than the Flyknit material. But again, it's nothing too substantial to where it can sway you from going from the 13 to the 14. It's just a little observation that I made. Also, I will say that this does feel a little bit heavier than the Vapor 13, but not to the point where you wouldn't want to play with these. If the Vapor 13 was like 7.3 ounces, then I'm pretty sure these are like 7.5 ounces. So you shouldn't have a problem with these. I will say that I'm kind of disappointed that Nike went away from the Flyknit material, only because I felt that on the Vapor 13 they finally, I would say, almost perfected it. So, in my opinion, the best Flyknit boots that Nike has ever produced is the Superfly 4, the Flyknit Ultra, and then the Vapor 13. And that's the reason why is because they were finally able to get it to a point where the upper was soft enough where you didn't feel like it had a whole bunch of break-in time to go with it, but it was also responsive enough where it felt like you had some pretty good lockdown, to where you didn't lose any containment when making sharp cuts or changes of direction. But with this, it goes back to more of a synthetic, um, I would say like a little a synthetic boot, similar to like the Vapor 8 and on back. But actually, I'm still one of those people that kind of prefer the old Tajin microfiber. But I guess this is gonna be good enough for whatever reason. Nike don't want to go back to using Tajin, so they decided to make their own. And um, while, like I just said, I do feel Tajin is a little bit better. Um, you'll be okay with these. Like I said, the touch is still very thin, very light. Still has that Mercurial fit. It still wraps your whole foot around. There is zero space in the boot. The only thing I would say is if you have maybe a high arch, you might see a little bit of bubbling in the arch area. But for somebody like me that has wide feet, I'm filling out every ounce, or not every ounce, but I'm filling up the boot to its max. So I don't have that problem. I will say I do experience a little bit of cramping because this is a narrow last and I have a wide foot, so it kind of doesn't make sense. But it's not to the point where I can't break them in. I would say that's pretty much it. I should try. I should be able to make if it doesn't snow because I live in Illinois, so if it doesn't snow for the foreseeable future, I will be able to go ahead and test these boots out. And I should come back with a review within 3 weeks to a month and give you guys an update on how I really like or dislike these boots. First impressions, like I said, I'm not too impressed, but I'm not super disappointed. I'm kind of in the middle. Vapor 13 was pretty good. This looks to be maybe a little step down. I would say if Vapor 13 is a 10, then these are a 9.5 or a 9. You're not losing much performance with these. So yeah, once I can actually put some wear into these boots and actually test them out, I'll be back with my review to tell you guys the full breakdown on how I feel about these. So yeah, see you guys in the next video. This is Boot Banter checking out. See you guys next time.